Good evening. My name is Carl. The sheer amount of podcasts that occupy the digital realm are beyond ordinary human understanding, lost somewhere behind endless popular culture critique and comic book nerdery. The program that you are about to hear is quite different from the others in one major respect. It chronicles the journey of two ordinary men, first intent on creating a program that examines a love of cinema from a bygone age, only to soon find themselves hurtling through a new, cataclysmic reality that rewards only the most intrepid of travelers. And now, we witness the evolution of these sonic wanderers, these riders of the apocalypse, as they navigate the cosmos of popular culture. Join us, won't you? An alternate universe awaits.
Previously on Riders of the Apocalypse.
Truth or Dare, A Critical Madness, 1986. Very deep cut. I would call it almost brutally deep cut. But a favorite of mine. Apparently a favorite of Elijah Wood's.
Right.
I guess. So I probably saw this when I was 12 or 13.
Okay.
With a buddy of mine, and stuck with me my whole life.
Yeah.
So Brian, let's just. I just want to we'll start off getting your take on it, because I know it's going to be a fun for me adventure to kind of force these movies on you, and then just to see what happens. So, real quick, did you like it, kind of thing?
Right. It was. I enjoy doing this to get new experiences and, get exposed to things that other people really like, and it's been good. It's been a good ride.
Awesome,
so,
man.
Yeah,
God, that's great. So good to hear. I know that movie for some people would be maybe hard to watch, even. So I love hearing that.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see how it might be hard to watch for some people.
This was directed by 17-year-old Tim Ritter. In
very
first movie,
very impressive.
In Florida somewhere. I guess he got just local actors. All right, so let's ranking 1 to 10. Brian, go.
1 to 10, what?
Truth or Dare.
Okay.
Ranking 1 to 10. 10 being the best score.
Oh, okay. This is okay. We're doing a review.
Yeah, just 1 through 10. Just give me a number. Just throw it out there. I want honesty. I want just brutal truth here.
Oh man. Ugh.
Give me a number 1 to 10.
3.
Truth or Dare.
I'm sorry.
A
3.
Fucking 3? No. Hang on. Now I'm offended.
Wait a minute.
No. Okay, hang on. You said 3.
I'm sorry.
Oh, now this is the Brian. Let's just destroy Jason's past.
No, I'm not trying to destroy your past. I don't have a time machine. That's not going to happen. I'm just, I'm sorry.
Dude, never
that
say
I
never.
you.
Okay. I've been waiting on a time machine my whole life. I think all of us, after seeing Back to the Future 1, can agree.
Yes.
Now,
I always
back
was
to Truth or Dare.
That idea,
Are we?
So.
I don't want.
That'd be fun. I would love to talk about that.
I'm not going to sit here and just waste everyone's valuable time, mine and yours included, and talk about Truth or Dare if you give it a 3. Let's be very clear here.
Okay. Man, I really
I
feel
pour my heart into these choices. This is choice number 1.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that.
I'm a
I
little
did the best I could to be there.
Is the phrase I'm looking for off-put?
Oh, yeah. It seems like it. You seem very off-put right now. I don't mean to be off-putting, but...
yeah, you did. You off-putted.
So now you're mad.
You very much off-putted.
So now you're mad. Okay. All right. I just, all I know is I'm doing the best I can to try to make a great podcast.
This would have been great news the first 5-10 minutes.
Oh, boy.
The movie
we actually did previously discuss it, and I was not, that.
Okay.
But
man,
it seemed like we were just going to go ahead and.
Well, no. And
I wanted to soldier on. I wanted to.
Man.
You made a choice, and I wanted to support you.
This is
I want to support you in that choice.
Not unlike our protagonist / serial killer in this movie, because he was kind of both. I'm cutting my own heart out here. I'm pulling my own tongue out, so to speak, and it's just painful.
Oh boy.
So Brian, that's what I think. I think you are definitely done here, and honestly, I might be done here. You know what? We're done. Carol,
Jason, I'm sorry. Come on.
Carol,
back.
Can you get the lights?
No. Don't turn the lights on. Carol, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Carol, turn the lights on.
Carol, if you turn those lights on, I swear to God, I will pull your internship.
Brian, Carol has been put in charge of the lights.
She has.
And she is only doing her job. Carol, go ahead and get the lights, please.
Okay, Carol, you don't have to do that. It's all right, because you know what, man? I've learned something today.
Oh, okay, sure.
I've learned that when your friend has something that's important,
is that what we're calling it? Friend.
And they want to.
So now, I'm not sure what to believe now, Brian. Do you even enjoy doing this?
Well, of course I do.
Do you want to do a podcast?
Hell yeah, bro. I do want to do a podcast. Here's what I'll tell you. I very much want to do a podcast that is quality with good material.
You know what? Okay.
That's what I want to do.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. There's a lot of people out there, I think you listeners know, would love to know a little background on Truth or Dare, A Critical Madness, 1986, Tim Ritter, 17-year-old director. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now you just cough it up. I know what that means.
That I was actually coughing.
We're done. Carol,
I was all ready to hear about
the lights.
This is terrible.
For the last time.
I can't believe this.
I love you, and I want to keep you employed here. Carol, get the lights.
Okay. You said I love you to an intern, but that's fine.
Carol,
you got to be careful about that kind of thing. I don't need
Carol
to
is
remind
a wonderful person. She has actually been a family friend for 20 years.
I'm not sure that's true. She just graduated from Hillsborough High School, so.
No. I'm afraid not. Anyways, Carol, now she's crying. Okay, now Carol's crying.
Oh, that's my fault.
Absolutely.
Maybe just watching you melt down in front of our audience might have moved her
that's
to tears.
been episode 1 of Riders of the Apocalypse, blah, 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 Truth or Dare, 3 out of 10.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
We circle this back around. You know what? Here's the
would
deal.
It help
It's
if
been fun, but it ain't been real fun.
It'd be okay. I know.
Carol,
I think I know how to fix this.
get
Carol, if you get near those lights, Carol, I swear to God.
Computer, patch me into the mainframe.
So
hey,
I have to ask you, why did you just do this to us?
It's because I'm just a bad person. I enjoy torturing you with these movies, Brian.
Let's
clearly
talk about the content that we just viewed.
The Being, 1983. I'd never seen it, so I was like, why not? It looked like an Alien ripoff, so I was kind of on board.
My first time as well.
Yeah.
I must admit, I'd never even heard of it until you sent me the link to it about a week ago, and it had it had the logo on. It's like, oh, okay,
right. The logo's cool.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, the black and white
here. Be a fun, crazy monster movie and chasing people around and whatnot.
I think we got it. I think we got that. I know you didn't enjoy it as much as me. I know, right? But it had
the thing is, here's the thing: there's no hatred for the film at all.
Right?
It is what it is.
It's a bad
People got
movie.
together. Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Yeah,
and never would I, want to limit somebody else's enjoyment of something like this. For sure, because there was definitely those fun moments.
And Brian, I appreciate that because I know you're talking basically to me. We were the only people watching it, and Look, I was surprised I'd never seen it, but it did have me all the way through.
Did it accomplish those things for you, like other movies like that? Like the reason that you watched these?
That's right.
And so let's talk about the tenets of what you enjoy.
Exactly.
About that.
We start with this kind of movie. We just start with enough gore.
Okay.
Especially starting with the head ripping off. Like, once you start me there for Jason, you kind of got, I'm on board and you've got me for at least the next kill or something. If it's a completely boring movie, you got me with the practical head pull off, you know.
That happens within the first few minutes of the movie.
It does.
They're letting you know right away, this is what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
So,
one thing I wanted to talk about, because so this is a little off subject, but last week you sent me that link for the Maximum Overdrive trailer.
Yes.
The original, 1986.
Yes. The one with
Stephen King.
Stephen King is in the trailer.
Yes, and you texted it to me with the line something along the lines of a lot of cocaine. Anyways,
right.
I wanted to, since we're, I knew that the minute I saw you, the next time I was going to ask you, what's your experience with Maximum Overdrive? And I can't believe I'd never seen the trailer with Stephen King in it. There's got to be a different trailer.
Yeah.
Without him batshit crazy looking at the camera.
Hi. My name is Stephen King. I've written several motion pictures, but I want to tell you about a movie called Maximum Overdrive, which is the first one I've directed.
Yeah.
He looks scary in that, and he's just like, I enjoy directing the movie.
Right.
And it's like, what the hell? And I know being 1986 is probably all shot in 85 or something like that.
Yeah.
That was a well-known, to a lot of Stephen King fans, especially now that he's, written about it. That was a well-known time period for Stephen King because he was...
Lots of drugs.
Right. He was drinking a lot and just bumping cocaine constantly while he was writing.
There's a few books he wrote that I guess he says he doesn't remember or didn't remember writing for a little while.
He said he wrote the book on writing,
right,
which was about him and the craft of writing, and he said that he does not remember writing Cujo. So that's where Stephen King was when he directed this movie.
You can tell, man. You don't get eyes like that without doing something.
Yeah. He's a piercing stare, but he's in front of that Green Goblin truck. Right. From Maximum Overdrive, he's like, "My name is Stephen King," and we'll.
This trailer is so good. Just the trailer makes made me immediately want to go back and watch the movie.
A lot of people have directed Stephen King novels and stories, and I finally decided if you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself.
That trailer is perfect in all the bad ways you want.
Yeah.
He's just like, when you want something done, you gotta do it yourself.
Right.
So I did this turkey. And it was a failure.
And keep in mind, he said this 6 years after The Shining. It's like, if you want something done right.
Yeah, he was so pissed off about The Shining. Yeah. Well, let's go there because, oh my God. The Shining is a masterpiece.
Yes.
Now, I understand that it's not anything like the book, and it's Stephen King.
The kernels are there.
Apparently,
all
he hates
the building
movie.
blocks are in the movie, but thematically does not play out the way it does in the book.
And I've honestly not read The Shining, but I've just heard that. And Stephen King, he says it's his least favorite, or he hates the movie or something.
Well, one movie that departs considerably from the book that's a failure is Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Right.
And I think that one failed because Kubrick was going to make the horror movie that was going to be the benchmark horror movie, the one by which other horror movies are judged. And he didn't really know the field, and he didn't take any time to educate himself in the field. So that I think that might be a failure of hubris.
I think he's got a beef with...
He does have a beef. I think it's in general, it's more of a... I don't know if it's part of his just sort of working class roots with him and Stanley Kubrick, where Kubrick was well known for getting very close to the authors of the source work that he was adapting.
Really?
And he would get close and go over it and then fundamentally change something to make the movie actually tell two stories.
Okay.
So it's like when you're watching, The Shining, a lot of people surmise that you're watching three movies, or at least there's two actual stories going on there.
Oh, shit.
There's
Here we
the
go.
basic one, like The Shining is haunted big hotel, get out, someone is going to die. There's that. There's creepy moments.
All work and no play, right?
Right. Very creepy moments in that movie. And then apparently another story that he was probably telling was, kind of the changing of the American landscape, the death of the Native Americans, when Europeans started coming over and stuff like that.
And when you look for that in the movie, if you rewatch it, you can clearly see it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's there.
Right.
For sure.
Another is that the idea that Jack Torrance is not, whereas the book is pretty definitive about it, in the movie, Kubrick is kind of dropping hints that maybe Jack Torrance, there's no ghosts. That maybe Jack Torrance is so insane that all of that, he's seeing all of that.
And is it thought that the other
wait a minute,
massacre didn't happen? Like
Shelley Duvall's character sees skeletons in the hotel lobby, so that doesn't really hold up. So there's
a lot of stuff. It's been forever since I've seen it. There's a lot of stuff
in that movie. Contradicting myself on something I was digging into, so sorry. Hey kids, this is Johnny Carson here. Just stopping by to lend my support to these wonderful fellas doing their new podcast, Writers of the Apocalypse. Podcasting, pretty crazy new stuff. Don't tell Ed, though, the last time I used a word like podcasting around him, he ran home and tried something on his wife that put them both in the emergency room. Anyway, back to the show. Okay, let's get back to Maximum Overdrive.
All right, so my mind now blown, and I am already going to be waiting for the X-rated version of Maximum Overdrive to be released. There was a ton of stuff cut out of this movie.
Okay.
It was super violent. It got an X rating, and guess who holds the only print of the uncut version?
Mr. Stephen King. Did I guess it right?
Old Stefan is holding on to the fully uncut version of Maximum Overdrive. Motherfucker, you better release that shit.
Wow.
Release it to us. Give us what we want. Mr. King. Hang on.
We humbly ask you.
Yes, who calls? Hey, man, we were just wanting to talk to King. Is he home? Let me see. Anyway.
That'd be great. He
come
comes
on,
to the door
man.
like...
You got to release the movie.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry, what, kids? What do you want?
I wonder if that's The Day the Clown Cried.
Oh, my God,
If that's his, the vault, even after his death, people are going to be trying to get a hold of it. Because Jerry Lewis directed a movie called The Day the Clown Cried, and it takes place in a Nazi occupation camp, like a concentration camp. And
my
it was
ass
so
just kicked in. That is amazing.
He shot the entire thing and then sat on. He was like, I'm never going to release it. And only a handful of people have actually seen the full film.
He never did release it?
No. And even after his death.
Ooh.
And there's some people that...
You must hate something so bad that you created. You can't even let anyone... Oh, my God.
So, I
but
guess...
But look, Stephen King needs to release this fucking thing. They released Robocop. Robocop was X-rated.
Oh, that's right.
Robocop, one of the best, most classic 80s movies. For our listener out there, if you haven't seen Robocop, please turn this podcast off.
Just
after you're done.
Please do your... You're right. when it's finished.
Then go and don't even bother renting it. All right, just hop on Amazon and order the uncut X-rated Blu-ray. And look, I know it. I don't get any profit from it. Order it, watch it, then come back. Robocop.
Right. Do your work, please.
It was X-rated. They had to cut it down for an R. That movie still, even cut down to an R, is brutally violent.
Yeah.
And anyways, so apparently Maximum Overdrive
Robocop.
MMO Drive.
I'm back to Robocop, man.
Oh,
It's
shit.
just like,
All right, here we go.
It's that's a wonderful film in many ways.
With the flow.
Yeah.
Robocop. Paul Verhoeven.
It's like, what happened to this franchise? Yes. So yeah.
So that's
But
Black
there's
Beauty too.
Right, and
Return of the Black Stallion.
every time we come back, it's like, and that's the story of the soybean. Or that's a Odenkirk reference. Or just come back like,
Soylent Green is people. I don't know why I just thought of that.
can I tell you a Soylent Green is people story?
Will you please?
Years and years ago, I was a kind of a co-manager for this Suncoast video store. It was a place where you could buy movies at the mall. And there's a movie store at the mall. And it was all new retail stuff, mostly VCRs, but plenty of, DVDs and some of the first like HD DVDs and stuff like that were in there.
Okay.
And so I was putting something up, and the main guy from the store was there, and he was helping two customers. And I was walking by. I was like, "Hey, I'm done with that other stuff. I'm going to go back up to the register." It's like, "Oh, that's great." And he was talking to them, and he was holding a copy. Excuse me, not he, but the woman, the female customer that was there, was holding a copy of Soylent Green. And he's like, "Oh, we were just they were asking about the movie, and we just happened to have this great Criterion collection. It was the only one on the shelf." I was like, "That's cool, man." And then I walked away going, "Soylent Green is PayPal. They gotta change the recipe, but they didn't." And he goes, "They haven't seen it yet."
Dude, okay. All right.
I felt terrible.
Goodness,
I was like, "I'm sorry."
How long have you been working on that? That's amazing. Dude, that is great.
I felt terrible because I hate it when people spoil shit.
And you're just straight up like, it's people.
It's paper. I was doing a whole bit. That was back in the day when it was like everything's kind of a scenario.
Oh my god!
And
so they just put down the movie and kind of slowly walk away and kind of just kind of talking to each other. I don't know why that young man just spoiled that movie, but Harold, I don't want to watch it now if it's people.
If they're killing,
let's get out of here, Barbara.
If they're killing folks.
I just like that Charlton Heston. Man, my only experience with Soylent Green is the SNL Phil Hartman masterpiece.
Yes.
He's playing he's just like, I don't even remember isn't Chris Farley in that one too? I don't, it's been so long, but it's just like he keeps clipping at different people, and he's he's just like, Soylent Green is people. It's people.
Over the top.
I still have not seen that movie.
Wow.
Almost embarrassed to say that, but it's the truth.
I hear you. There's some movies that...
But he spoiled it for me. Phil Hartman spoiled it for me back in 1988 or something.
And what a way to get a spoiler.
Oh, man.
Phil Hartman was the man.
I'm okay with it.
He was an indispensable utilitarian member of Saturday Night Live, late night comedy television for a few years, where he was the go-to guy. He could do something crazy and be the star of a sketch, or he could literally be one of the guys at the lunchroom counter going, "Hey, talking to the waitress."
And you would still be laughing at him.
Yes.
He could be in the background doing almost nothing.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
Just dead on.
Oh, my goodness. Well.
Apparently, oh no. I didn't mean to say that.
Oh, my God.
And apparently a great artist, too.
Huh?
Apparently a great artist, too. He did album covers for like groups like Poco and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Like in the 70s. That was he was a graphic designer, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I had no idea.
He's a multi-layered dude, man. He was talented.
Oh, my. When he does Sinatra, the round table. Best sketch. Sinead O'Connor.
Oh, no. Yeah. They want to like you.
Listen, you don't scare me. I got chunks of guys like you in my stool. And then they're just like, what? Wait, what?
He was so aggressive.
You could pick up a check every once in a while.
The way you talk to Steve and Edie, like after the third roast, they were like, "Hey,
I wonder how real that. Well, that had to come from a place of truth. I wonder if Sinatra was really like
maybe
in the later years, just
I don't know,
hard to deal with.
I almost hope, like his image throughout, you'd almost hope that he's like, he's actually
He's
always
old blue eyes,
a good guy. He just tip the waiters. He just always
hope
class acts. I hope that's true.
That's how I'm going to choose to remember it. I don't need the truth or whatever. It's
outside
fine.
of just a terror, just like watching.
Well, didn't you say that? Okay, was Carson? Because it's kind of the same. I don't know why I get Carson and that those guys back then.
Yes,
that generation.
No, you're onto something.
So, because you told me that Carson was wasn't he fairly brutal to Ed McMahon even? He
I think they just
like he really didn't. They eventually didn't like each other. Or am I wrong there?
I don't know. Okay. Who knows how many waves came and went in their relationship over 30 years of just being like a sidekick guy. There had to have been times where they didn't talk.
Well, when you're with somebody that long and then you're in contact that much,
right.
There's going to be some problems.
Maybe,
I think that's just human nature. If you're around somebody and you're in that kind of relationship where you work together that closely,
right.
There's going to be moments where you're like, okay, listen, Ed, you can't keep coming over to my house. I mean, listen, we're off work. Go have fun, buddy. But I can't have you just randomly showing up at my house. I mean, it's my kid's bar mitzvah.
It's a little too
for
much.
God's sake.
There is classic snippets that people have put onto YouTube that you can still find from the 70s Carson years. And I think I know why you're drawing these, parallel
it's
between
kind of
Sinatra and yes, it's because back in those days, all of those comedians that were big, the older guys that were famous, going into the 70s, guys that had started working in radio in the 30s, did movies in the 40s, 50s, 60s, in some cases, then you had Dean Martin and those guys, but a lot of those comedians and Milton Berle, they were mean to each other. They were not good people. They were very old school, very old generation, hard stock, hard scrabble. Even to be in show business, I'm sure they were very tough back then. When they were first getting their start,
right?
And there's
you just get this calloused skin,
I guess,
from the environment, right. And I imagine it being very brutal back then.
Probably
it would be. It was definitely a different world.
Comedians
we're
share now.
Oh, and
right.
Yeah.
It's
Rogan talked about it that there's this relationship now with these comedians. Yeah. They're on the same team. Whereas back then it was kill or be killed.
Interesting.
It was,
yeah.
And I loved when he was talking about it. I don't know, and I wasn't there back then, but it does seem like they were clearly more aggressive. There was one stage and you had to be on it. It wasn't like, oh, there's hundreds of comedians and we're all pals and we're all trying to help each other's career.
Yeah.
Now apparently it's, like that.
Yeah. They know that everybody can eat.
Right. That there's enough, I guess with the internet, there's enough audience to everybody can eat.
They're not fighting over one time slot and shit like that.
Yeah. Okay. That's it,
wow.
Dude. So the three channel when TV just started.
Yeah.
Because that was, do you know any?
As far as actual.
When did every house start having at least one TV? It wasn't the radio anymore.
As ubiquitous as I think we're talking about. Television existed in one way or another for a home buyer that was a prosumer even in the late 40s. Okay. But the 50s
because I was
going to
say was the late 30s even. I don't know.
Yeah, the television as far as the over-the-air transmission of picture data, basically, they started figuring that out in the way that it stayed for decades, the whole beaming to a cathode ray tube and that builds the image and all that shit. That started in one way or another, late 40s in a set that can be in somebody's home.
Right.
And then the 50s was when that stuff became cheaper and a lot more people. That was, like the 80s for the VCR.
Yeah.
Within a few years, everybody could have one.
Yeah. And how.
And, yeah. And so Milton Berle, he was like one of the first people on like a broadcast television show when that was a thing. And so, but all those guys, leading back to like your observation into the story, they were pretty brutal. There's a Johnny Carson, scene that I was talking about from the 70s, where it was like his 20th anniversary, I think, of hosting the Tonight Show, and he had all these old school guys like George Burns, Milton Berle, I think Eddie Cantor, somebody like that. I don't know if Sinatra was there, but they're just like sitting there like, well, I'll tell you one thing before I answer that next question. If that cigar smoke hits me in the eye again, we're going to step outside.
Oh my
and it was like,
God.
oh God, they're not like,
and
he wasn't
they're
joking.
not fucking around. They're dead
Jerry
serious.
Lewis came out. They were busting on him like whatever.
Lady. Oh, sorry.
Exactly. They were just like, whatever. It's just brutal.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, I was thinking about it. Maybe there was two or three channels, right? Mm-hmm. And so maybe just even media in general, of course, they'd be kind of fighting, especially if they were super competitive type people, which they were.
Right.
Yeah.
Different times.
Hell, and I don't know if it's better or worse, but it's definitely different.
Next time on Riders of the Apocalypse.
Hey Brian, man, check this out. I picked this up at the flea market the other day.
At the flea market you got that?
Yeah.
That looks dangerous.
No, man, not at all. See, look, I can toss it around.
No, you shouldn't do that.
It's fine, man. This thing is 50 years old.
Those things were pretty unstable.
It's all good. Oh, dude, I've always wanted to do this. Hang on.
Do what?
I'm going to hit it with a hammer.
No, don't do that.
No, it's not going to do anything. It's just...
Seriously, man.
I think
that we're...